Can you hear me? Thank everybody for coming, especially Brad. And Bill Borowski, who's hiding at the back of the room. And David Singer. Where are you, David?
He's also hiding back.
I want this. Yeah. I'd like to really big thank you to Drew Anderson, who's been setting this up for 2 days, I think. And I'd like to thank Betsy from the library, because without the library and all their help, we wouldn't be able to do this. So, my name is Kathleen Walker, and I'm here as an organizer, and I'm here with David Smolsky, and he is the timer, and he has also done a voluminous amount of publicity. I don't think we've ever had so many people. It's great. Thank you, David. And Noreen Smith is our esteemed moderator. So I just want to tell you that there were 19 candidates that were forwarded to me by the town clerk with all their emails, and they all got an email request to tell us if they were going to come, and most of them did. There were about 6 or 7 that didn't, but we're grateful for the ones that did, which amount to all the people at this table. A special thank you to all of you for being here, because this is not the easiest thing you're doing this weekend, is speaking at Candidates Forum. So we're very grateful for you to be here. And we're also especially grateful for the audience. We haven't had this many people. It will be televised, and but to have you here is great. It's wonderful to see this many concerned people about our town. And so with that, I will turn it over. Did I forget anybody? To Noreen. We'll get started.
All right, thank you very much, Kathleen. So just so you all know, behind the scenes, David and Kathleen did all the work. I'm just, the crowd pleaser up here. So big round of applause for Kathleen. So my name is Noreen Smith. I'm your town moderator, and I'm in my 2nd term, and I am considering not running again. So I'm just letting people know in advance, because my term is up next year. So if anyone out there has been saying, wow, I could do a better job than her, I encourage you to think about that and go get some papers, because public service is important. It's how our community runs. It's how our democracy works. It doesn't work if each one of us isn't willing occasionally to step up and get involved. So I'm really grateful to the candidates today who have taken time out of their personal lives to step up, consider a commitment to the town of Charlton in different roles, all of which need to be filled, all of which need to be performed ethically and with attention to detail and with consideration for everyone in the town. So really grateful for everyone who runs. And, if at first you don't succeed, try again, or run for moderator next year. Okay. All right. Welcome, everyone. We're going to have a pretty tight schedule here. We're starting right on time at 1:30. We're going to end on time at 2:30. So we have 1 hour and a large number of candidates. And people sent me questions in advance. I have 6 pages of questions that came in. So I'm grateful for all of the interest from the town in what the candidates have to say. If your question doesn't get asked, don't take it personally. I'm trying to make sure we kind of cover a breadth of topics and that everybody has some representation in the questioning here. And how many people are here for the first time for a candidates forum? Welcome. Congratulations to all of you. These are really important, and I know people can watch this later on TV, but it's also really great to be here. And afterwards, there's an opportunity to have some delicious treats and coffee and meet the candidates in person, so that when you go to the polls to vote, you know who you're voting for. That's the whole point of this session today. All right, so we're going to start with introductions, and we're going to start on this end with, I think, Mr. Sullivan. And I'm going to ask each candidate to pass down the microphone to take 3 minutes or less to introduce yourself, give your full name, your address in town, how many years have you lived here, the position you're seeking, and why are you running for this office? And finally, if you can keep that all in your heads, finally, what unique perspective or skills do you have that would benefit the community if you're elected? All right, Mr. Sullivan.
Hi, my name is Mike Sullivan. I've lived in Charlton since 1998, and I'm seeking to be re-elected to the Charlton Housing Authority. I'm running unopposed. It's one of those positions that we love people to get interested in, and we do have had a lot of people who are interested in that. Personal thing, there's no pay involved. It's important. We have a small housing authority that covers a number of elderly, disabled, and family units over here. We're trying for years to find other properties to build up to provide more low-income housing. It's been very difficult with the economic situation where you can't get anyone to build it who doesn't want to own it afterwards, which is not public housing. So, but meanwhile, I won't take too much of your time because I'm not debating anything, but we appreciate the town's support with the Housing Authority all these years, and my only qualifications for that was that I was raised in a housing project, Veterans Housing Project in Miami. And at that time, it was considered not very good. You were looked down upon for that. And I had to live with that for a long time. I think we're by that. We're a long ways by that. But not completely, especially in the cities. So anyway, thank you for listening.
Good afternoon. I just want to thank everyone that's on the panel for coming. This is very important work. Thank you to the audience and everyone who organized this, because getting the message out for every one of these candidates to the community is a paramount thing, and it's a big opportunity. So I'll give you a little brief of myself. I was raised in Western Mass, and we relocated to Boston. I worked in the broadcast and telecommunications industry as an engineer for 30 years. When I worked in Boston, I also worked in higher education for 15 years, and I found it deeply rewarding to helping students learn, excel, and grow. Challenging students and helping them find their academic stride was always a personal goal of mine. I have proudly served on 3 school committees for the past 3 years, but I also attend monthly committee meetings for the school council, but I also attend all the school committee meetings, some of the subcommittee meetings. I've attended the cultural council committees. Monday I'll be at the Parks and Rec committee. My family and I are really trying to get very involved in the community. For the past 12 years, I've been a municipal employee. I really enjoy pivoting from the private sector and working with the public as a public servant. I really like engaging with the many different demographics in town where I work, and I've been growing, learning to meet many new people and faces, and we've built a lot of new friendships here in what we call home in Charlton. Something that's a little different, I've been a referee for ice hockey for 30 years. I started as a very young teenager. I think it's kind of a thankless job. You can't be a referee in any sport and not have a dedication to kids, because you don't make too many friends. But it's something passionate to me, because I like seeing kids develop on so many fronts. It's not just education. It has to be the whole gamut. We need to develop from every side of things. Why did we come to Charlton? My wife and I have been married for 19 years, and we've been together for 26, so my lovely wife, Lisa. I have 2 kids, Jasper, who's 11, and Rory, who's 7. They're both in school here. And we moved here for the schools. I was working in Boston and met a couple of people that lived and grew up in Charlton. They're like, oh yeah, I graduated from the Hill. And then I met a few more, and I went, well, these are good people. We got to look at this community. And so before we knew it, this is where we ended up looking, and just fell in love with the community. We really want this to be here for everyone. We have no intentions of going anywhere. So for those I get along with, great. For those I didn't, I'll have more time to win you over. Let's see. Promise. One second. I have strong values and compassion and a lengthy and an in-depth background in municipal government and municipal finance, and a strong passion for students receiving a quality education.
This is your Star Wars signal, and it's time to wrap it
I
up.
offer professional, tenacious, and reliable performance, and I will bring that to the school community.
If I could just remind candidates your name, your address in town, and the position you're running for. Thank you.
You would have concerned me if Darth Vader came out.
I'd have no chance to win if I died.
Good afternoon. My name is Michael Benukowitz, and I've lived in Charlton since 1987. I've actually seen the town grow, probably at times more than I'd want to see it, because it was nice when it was nice and small. I knew everybody. But it's great to see how it's grown and how happy people are to live here. I've been married for 40 years, and my wife actually works at CVS in the Minute-Clinic. So a lot of people know her from there. I have 3 grown children, 2 of which live in Charlton, 1 who lives in Worcester, and I've got 7 grandchildren. Running for constable for the town of Charlton, and it's really difficult to describe what a constable does, and the easiest way I could put it is a constable does the things that the police department doesn't do. Civil actions, things like that are what we get hired to work with. I've been doing it. This will be my 2nd time around. I like doing it. I'm also I own a security and investigation company in Worcester called Metro Crime Prevention, and I've been doing that for 30 years. So, I've got some establishment in the town. Like I say, I like the town. I've seen it grow, and it's really nice to see all of the young people that have moved in here. I can't believe I'm saying young people. And this little baby that's right in front of me is driving me nuts. The baby's just so beautiful. Just watching the back and forth and looking to see what's going on, it's amazing. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Robert Coleman. I live at 25 East West Applewood Drive. My parents moved here for the school system, mainly many years ago. Can't really remember, but between that and leaving for a brief stint in Connecticut and going to college, I've been in Charlton perhaps 22 years, give or take. And I'm running for the Water and Sewer Commission because I saw that, first of all, nobody's running, but it's very important that we have somebody to make sure that the water is available when we turn the tap. A lot of people don't realize how much work goes into things we take for granted, and I thought it would be a good way to get involved in the town and give back to the community. Certainly, I'm also in favor of making sure that we don't have any deferred maintenance, and instead, if we're going to make an investment, we should do it at the right time, sooner rather than later. That if something breaks down, then it can cost you a lot more than it would have cost to fix it earlier. And in addition, when we need to make capital investments, not only to maintain what we have, but perhaps to expand, we want to do it when interest rates are lower, as opposed to if they go up. Because unless we see a sudden outbreak of fiscal responsibility from Washington, that's probably not going down anytime soon. However, what we can do is prepare for the future by increasing the water supplies. We need to make it, we have acquired land to develop our water supply, and we need to invest in that. The best time to do it was 20 years ago, but the second best time is now. And hopefully we can ensure that as more people discover the gem that is Charlton, we are able to handle that increase in population. And that is what I will advocate for on the Water and Sewer Commission. I didn't go here to pick a fight. There was no fight. I came here to contribute, and that's what I will do if elected.
Good afternoon. My name is Nicole Enberg, and I am running for the school committee for the one-year seat. I am an incumbent. This will be my third term if elected. I've been doing it for 2 years. My address is 17 Smith Road, and I have been residing in Charlton for the past 18 years. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. Appreciate it very much as well. And I'm definitely excited to be here the first year. This is actually my first forum, even though it's my third year. The first year was still in the beginning of April, and I am a self-employed tax preparer, have been for 25 years, as well as a regular career in insurance for 25 years. And it was the last Saturday of tax season 2 years ago, and there was no possible way that I could break away. And luckily for me, tax season ended earlier this week, so here I am today. Still to be determined on that. For the past 10 years, since my son, who's now a sophomore at Shepherd Hill, since kindergarten, I've been involved with all of the council committees in all 3 schools: Charlton Elementary, Heritage, and then Charlton Middle School, every single year for 10 years. I was also involved in the PTO, first as a parent volunteer, and then I was a board member for approximately 5 years. I also was involved in the Little League for approximately 7 years, first also as a parent volunteer. Then I was a board member 2 different ways, concessions as well as the treasurer. So again, between all of those items, I've definitely been involved in the town of Charlton for over 10 years in total. Outside of serving for our schools in Charlton, as I said, tax preparer, but I also been working at the same insurance company for approximately 25 years, Unum. Used to be housed in Worcester, now it's at home. I'm also on various other committees as well as school committee, and mostly they are subcommittees of school committee, but they are extremely important. This year, actually, most important I thought was contract negotiations with the teachers union. It was my first time being on that committee, and it was extremely time-consuming, but also very rewarding, and appreciate everything that the teachers and staff at all of our schools do. Again, I am excited to run as an incumbent candidate for my third term as a one-year seat, and I believe my background allows me to bring forth additional great things that I've been doing for the past 2 years. Thank you very much.
My name is Mike Kevorkian. I am running for the Board of Selectmen seat for the 3-year term. I am the newcomer here. I have never ran for anything in office. I have lived here in Charlton for 49 years. January will be 50. I played Little League down here for 6 years. I met Mr. Parker at the American Legion and ran into an old coach, so that was good and that was fun and friendly. I also went to City Grade School down here, which is now McDonald's. Went over here to the 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, the old high school, which is now our town hall. I also attended Shepherd Hill for 7th and 8th grade in the late 80s, and then I graduated from Bay Path in 1994 with an auto mechanics background. I had joined the United States Marine Corps. I was traveling around for 4 years. I've been around the world from Korea to Spain to Japan and Okinawa. I held every license for every vehicle that they had with wheels. I was also certified and licensed through the American Red Cross to certify others to be first responders, CPR and first aid. After I got out, I joined forces with Herb Chambers, and I sold cars for many years. I was in the retail side of the automotive industry for 20 plus years. I quickly excelled from sales to finance. I managed internet departments. I was a business development manager. Then I became a general manager, and I ran my own store, all the day-to-day operations at a Chevy store as well as a Harley-Davidson store for several years. I handled everything from the hiring and the firing to payroll to marketing and advertising, buying and selling at the auctions, negotiating contracts with lenders as well as customers. And now I work for a company called Northeast Dealer Services, which is under the umbrella of Subaru New England, which is owned by Ernie Bach. We also help manage and assist other dealers in the neighborhoods of around 100 different dealers all across New England. We manage profitability platforms, personal wealth. We also deal with training. So we train a lot of the managers that are in these dealerships to be better at what they're doing. We also are compliant auditors. So we go into the different dealerships and we make sure that they're doing business ethically and compliantly. I am AFIP certified, and I have been for the last 10 years, and that stands for Automotive Finance and Insurance for Professionals. It is a very expensive class, can take up to a couple of weeks. A lot of dealers choose not to do this just simply because of the cost, and that's what they hire us for, to go in and make sure that they and their people are doing what they should be. I decided to run for the Board of Selectmen because I see that after going to a couple of different meetings and committees and seeing that there really is a lack of people that are interested in attending these things, and you see voids and you see vacancies, and being a concerned resident in the town that I've grown up in all my life for almost 50 years, I've decided it was my turn to step up. So I feel that after 50 years, it's my turn to give back to Charlton as well. So that's my story.
Good afternoon. Thanks everyone for coming. I put my timer on because as much as I love Star Wars, I don't want to hear it while I'm finishing anything. So I'm Lori Fontaine. I live at 19 Pinewood Drive over on South Charlton Reservoir. And I've been here for 25 years. We just built our new house, our forever home over there. We lived on the other side, sold. And so we came to the town. It was interesting when I heard Anthony speak for the same reason. We did this triangulation. I grew up on Cape Cod. My husband grew up in South Windsor, Connecticut. And we said we got to be close enough to be able to go visit the grandparents, but you know, in a town that seems like the town that we grew up in, something small where kids could ride their bikes, you know, play outside at night, play kick the can, or you know, whatever. And this was the town that we chose. We came here for that reason. And again, it's been 25 years, and just love this town. Why am I running? Great question. I started my career, well, let me go back, actually. My father was a lieutenant in the police department down in Bourne, Massachusetts, so a public servant his entire life, caring for that community. I was raised under the respect that he obtained from the town. They closed the bridges when he died to be able to conduct his memorial service. So I've got big steps, or big shoes to fill. My mother was a school nurse in the town also for many years. And so this past year, after a wonderful career in healthcare, I started out as an oncology nurse, caring for cancer patients in their journey through cure, and then sometimes, unfortunately, through the changeover into, you know, the afterlife. And that deeply was something that I appreciated, is what it takes to help people through tough times, but it broadened my exposure and experience to thinking about public health. And so I went on and got my master's in public health and health services research. I started my career working through a number of companies working on women's cancer issues. So I worked for Boston Scientific, I worked for Hologic, which helped develop 3D mammography technology to identify cancers earlier. Was very proud to be part of that team and working globally to help women have access to healthcare and families. So fast forward to last year, and my mother, who is about to turn 90 in 2 weeks, she lives up at the Overlook, started to have failing health. And so I realized it was time to get off the jet. I had not been able to be part of the community in the last years because of my travel schedule. And so I retired to be able to be there for her. And I found this position and said, you know what, this is a good fit for my role. I really want to have an opportunity to continue in healthcare and passion. I am not running against John in any way. I've seen John do an amazing job as a member of the Board of Health, and it just is time. So I hope that I have a chance to serve this community in this capacity. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you for attending this forum on the 250th anniversary of the Battle of Lexington and Concord. That was March this morning. I'm John Sanborn, running for re-election to the Board of Health. I've served already three-year terms, so I'm just finishing up my 9th year. I live at 12 Jennings Road. Been in Charlton for 37 years, and I just want to say that one of the reasons why I'm running for another term is because the Board of Health is really a very fine organization. If anybody here has had to deal with them over the years, they've really done a great job. Jim Philbrook is the health director, and Andrea and Kim are the assistants. Real fine organization. That's why I have no qualms about running again. We've been working over the past 9 years with a number of issues. Most of these issues, the major issues, are things that people are well aware of, such as the ExxonMobil spills that started contaminating school wells. And we worked with state and local agencies to get public drinking water to the schools and other residents in the loop, including the Sonic Home. There's also been the well contamination by the Southbridge landfill, and we were working again with Mass DEP and construction companies and so forth to make sure that those people got safe drinking water. And we can't forget the COVID pandemic. That was not fun at all. But that's behind us for the most part now. So the thing now that the Board of Health is involved with, the last big item, at least for now, is the capping of the old landfill on Flint Road. It's about, I think, 5 or 6 acres. The plans have been approved by the DEP, and we are all systems go. We're just waiting for now putting it out for bid, and hopefully next year for sure, 2026. It'll be capped, done, and that'll be a dead issue that we just have to monitor for, I think it's 30 years to make sure that there's no contamination getting out of that. So the Charlton Board of Health has 3 members, and I'm supposed to mention that the other 2 members, Matt Gagner and Steve Zaveska, we all work together real well, and if you're ever in need of anything in the Board of Health, obviously call, and we're happy to assist in any way. A little bit about my background. I graduated from the State University of New York, but I did have course concentrations in things like environmental chemistry, geomorphology of soils, water resources, physical geography, and other planning. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Bonnie Seifert, and I am running for the one-year Housing Authority position. I grew up here in Charlton. I raised my family here while running a small business for the last 25 years. I'm currently president of the Kathy Keels Memorial Wildflower Meadow Committee. It's located at 1 Meadowview Drive, site of the housing complex. For those who do not know me, I am Kathy's daughter. She was on the board for many years, and it would be an honor and a privilege to continue her mission and work with the board to provide a safe, secure, affordable housing for the veterans, elderly, and families of our town. So please consider me for your vote. I'm also running unopposed and thought it was important for me to come today to introduce myself.
Good afternoon. My name is Karen Spewak. Before I begin, I do want to give a shout out to the organizers of this event. Good job every year. To all of you who are here today, thank you for coming. And to the people at home who watch this over and over again, right? Thank you. And in fairness, too, I want to say thank you to my opponent for his service to this country and to all the veterans who service, who has given so much, and their families. So again, Karen Spiewak, 187 Sunset Drive, Charlton, Mass. I am a candidate for the Charlton Select Board, and I'm hopeful after you review my qualifications that you will hire me to do the job of selectman. I've lived in Charlton with my family for approximately 40 years. During this time, I have felt a strong obligation to contribute to our hometown through various means. I've worked alongside in the community. I see many faces out there. I've worked alongside of actually on numerous boards and committees, acquiring significant knowledge and forging strong relationships with individuals in Charlton, neighboring communities, and on Beacon Hill. I take immense pride in our accomplishments and prepared to and willing and able to do more. As a select board member, I will do as I have done in the past, commit to serving the public with drive, determination, and dedication throughout my entire term. I will be visible, I will be accessible, and I will be accountable. I will research issues before voting, ask the tough questions when needed, and never, ever, ever be a rubber stamp. I will work cooperatively with other boards and departments, engage regularly with our legislators, and be fiscally responsible. And I will be a fierce advocate for public safety, quality education, government transparency, senior citizen initiatives, as well as other issues important to all of you. Most importantly, I will always remember that I work for the citizens of Charlton. The highlights or qualifications of my last 40 years: I have served on the Charlton Board of Selectmen from 2018 to 2020. I've also served on numerous subcommittees when on that board, ones that created policies and procedures to improve transparency, accountability, and efficiency. I was proud to be part of the team that negotiated with and hired the current town administrator, who is awesome. I was on the Charlton Public Safety Building Capital Campaign Steering Committee, the Dudley Charlton Regional School Committee for about 10 years. In 2008, I helped to form the Dudley Charlton Education Foundation, and then proudly served on the board as a member from 2009 to 2011. And I was on a Charlton Public Library trustee, and most importantly, really, the Charlton Public Library Capital Campaign Steering Committee, where I co-chaired the Capital Campaign Committee, and we spearheaded volunteer efforts which raised more than $1 million for this town treasure we're sitting in today, which directly, of course, impacted the residents and the amount that they had to pay. And every time I come in here, it's like a payday for me. And in recent months, I participated in multiple meetings and engaged with officials, town leaders, and residents to revisit issues and priorities, so once elected, I can hit the ground running. I have the time, energy, experience, and knowledge needed to excel in this position. Now I need your vote. Thank you.
That's a hard one to follow. My name is Bradford Howard. I live up at 148 Gould Road, up in North Charlton. And I'm running for a second term as constable. It's an unopposed position. Mike and I work well together. Mike's a great guy. I wanted to get into town politics just to understand how the whole machine worked. I wanted to try to give something back to my town. My family's been very active in this town since Roxwood. My dad, my uncles, just everybody. Now they're aging a little bit. It's time for me to pick up. Currently, I help with the emergency management through the search program. You'll see me picking up trash at Old Home Day. You'll also see me next week picking up for Earth Day. Try to give it back and meet people. That's why I'm here. I appreciate everybody coming out. Appreciate you all. Good afternoon to you all.
Hang on to that microphone down there. So we did collect questions online on Facebook, and people sent things into my email address for the town. So I had 6 pages of questions. A lot of enthusiasm out there, and I appreciate everyone. We won't get to every question, but I'm gonna try. So for the constables, this is your one question, so make it count. The responses will be between 1 and 2 minutes, so concise for everyone for the next round here. Would you please explain the key responsibilities of a constable in our community, the way you understand them, and how you see your role in supporting community safety? And this is for Mr. Howard and Mr. Benukowitz. You have the microphone, so go right ahead. Yeah. If you could use the microphone, please. Yep.
My feeling is that I should support public safety, fire and police, not in any particular order, but as much as I can. The duties of a constable, it's a very old historic position, and it's to keep the community safe, physically and feeling safe. It's to get out and know who's in your stable. Constable comes from count of the stable. To know who's there, to know everybody's safe, no one should feel unsafe. I think without going into a long dissertation, the best I can do to make Charlton a better, safer place and to support those in other departments, that's where I'm at.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you pass the microphone down, please?
Okay. Constable is probably one of the oldest positions in law enforcement. The word cop is where that derives from. Cop means constable on patrol. The constable used to do the duties of the police department way back when. Now, our responsibilities, as I say, are really civil issues that we may, that the Charlton Police Department can't or won't do, so it's up to us to handle them. It seems like serving papers. That's our responsibility, main responsibility, I would say right now. We are here to assist Charlton if they need any kind of help whatsoever. It's, as I say, it has a long background. It's been condensed. We're right now dealing with the Post Commission. Post Commission is the commission that, the civil commission that deals with how and what law enforcement does and how they can do that. They feel that we should be a part of that process, which I would say we probably should, but nobody wants to figure out who should do the training. It will happen, I doubt it won't. But right now we're here to serve the public in any way we can. That's within our boundaries.
To the Housing Authority candidates, Mr. Sullivan and Ms. Seifert, what do you see, very briefly, and this is your one question, as the most significant housing challenges in our community, and how would you address affordable housing needs? We'll start with Mr. Sullivan with the microphone down here, and then go to Ms. Seifert.
Okay, thank you. I think I did mention the fact that one of our problems was building new low-income housing, and it's a problem that's way beyond the ken of the city, of the town to solve. But there is some light at the end of the tunnel. The Healy administration has put a lot more money into the pipeline. We're getting projects done over there that we've been waiting to do for years, replacing doors, improving the streets and so forth. So it is happening, but on the biggest scale, it's for financing low-income housing that doesn't wind up being owned by the contractors. It's just, we have to go back. It's almost going back to the time of FDR when they built a huge amount of low-income housing for people. And not that we should go back to that model, but we have to have one that provides the proper financing, because the need is there, in fact, in every single town in the Commonwealth.
Thank you.
So I'm new at this. Public speaking is not my forte, but I agree with Mike. We do need housing in our town. We need to take care of our people, our veterans, our elderly, and the people that need the help. And it's the financial part of it that's hard. And to maintain that, I don't want to say control of it, but not to give it away. And to have us, provide for the people that live here and grew up here, and to maintain, our community. I grew up here, and I see it changed for years. I'm 57, so it's amazing to see the changes that have happened, and I'd like to restore that to our whole community if possible.
So we're going to go over to the Board of Health now, and so we have Mr. Sanborn and Ms. Fontaine. If you could briefly identify what you see as the primary public health challenges in our community, and how would you approach addressing these challenges with limited resources?
Probably the biggest concern that I have going forward is PFAS contamination, specifically in well water and public water supplies. PFAS compounds have been around for about 70 years, and they are now in soil, water, air, fish, just about everything you name it. EPA and Mass DEP are working diligently now to do testing of public water supplies. They have instituted specific thresholds. They're very stringent. Right now it's, I believe, 20 parts per trillion, which is extremely low concentrations. But, so I guess the good news is we've identified the problem, and the only way to really work this is to get some sort of state or federal funding to address it, because we're going to come up to the time, not in the not too distant future, when you sell a house or when you buy a house, it's going to require PFAS testing, which is not cheap, and to mitigate that, it's a lot of money to put in a point of entry treatment system. So that to me is the big concern, no doubt. Going forward, that'll be years and years. You've probably already heard about it. You're going to hear a heck of a lot more in the very near future. Thank you.
So it's hard to follow on that one, because that's exactly it. It was when I was speaking with Matt Gagner recently, he said, well, you gotta read up on PFAS, because that's really the burgeoning issue. There's certainly wells that we've already identified in town with that particulate way above. For those of us that live over, and I'm sure a lot of folks in town, right? The arsenic has been an issue, like that's gone down, right? We've all had to put all those remediation systems, very expensive, into our homes to do. So yes, all of those, I think, drinking water in general, right, is an issue. I was on the Charlton Lakes and Ponds Committee for a couple of years, listening and learning from the wealth of knowledge that those folks had. So, and living on the lake, we want to preserve our natural environment, right? Also for not just humans, but for wildlife, the fowls, everybody, the birds. We want them to be at our feeders, right? So, big issue. I think the thing that I hopefully can also bring is I have worked both at the federal level and state level in public health issues, so I am not afraid of going down to the State House and having conversations with people and asking, as I think somebody else, the hard questions, and pushing for the right type of support, especially in small communities like ours. So I look forward to that. I'm not as versed, certainly, yet, but that's one of the things I will say. One of my top strengths is a learner. So I will research, learn, but I'm also able to make a good decision based on what the people in town feel. So I don't know the biggest public health issue, but I think that's, people would agree. I'm looking around, people are shaking their heads that water certainly is an issue within our town, but I'm also interested in others, right? As we mentioned, are there other places where we could look at innovative public health programs to bring that funding in and start some things creatively here as well? Thank you.
Pass the microphone, please. please, to Mr. Coleman. That's a good segue to water and sewer. Mr. Coleman, one question, please, and I think, what is the most critical infrastructure challenge facing our town's water and sewer system? And within that, do we have enough water in town to support the growth that's happening?
Well, I certainly don't want to take away from clean water. As we've heard, it's a very important issue. But if our town population is going to continue growing as more people learn about our town, we should definitely be working to increase the volume as well. And certainly we've already bought it, and it is important to begin the process of developing it. This doesn't happen overnight, but fortunately neither does the moving in. So as we have more people, hopefully if we can get that done, it will produce enough water to keep everybody supplied when they turn knob. It's very, very important. We take it for granted, and if we're going to continue taking it for granted, then we need to make sure that we take action today. And one thing about this project, I do think, as a side note, the Bay Path kids certainly could have an opportunity to learn about the process. We don't necessarily want somebody inexperienced to be physically working on it, but they can at the very least see how it works. Maybe some of them will decide to move here if they are not ready from Charlton. Certainly it can be an opportunity as much as it is a challenge, but that would be ensuring that future generations also have water, very important. We don't want to need to beg or borrow from other towns in order to supply ourselves, if we can help it.
Okay, good segue again to our school committee candidates, Mr. Aubie and Ms. Enberg. Comparing our school district to other similar districts, what type of things do you believe our students need to excel and prepare for the future? And what is your perspective on supporting children with autism and other disabilities and incorporating them into regular education classrooms? So it's two-part question. One is, what do our students need to excel, and what do you intend to bring to the board? And secondly, how will we bring along also our students with special needs?
Well, I want to thank whoever submitted that question, because both parts of that are incredibly important. The first part is, when we can compare ourselves to comparable communities of size and demographic, we've been starting to lag behind, whether it's by, we need to address our capital improvements for our buildings. Some of them are starting to reach capacity, where others at the middle school have room to grow. We also need to develop high instructional materials for our students, and along with that comes professional development for our staff and faculty, because they want to develop their skills to deliver those curricula to our students. When you look at communities that are comparable to us, we're lagging. We've made great stride, and to the credit of current members on the school committee, they've worked very, very hard. That's not an easy process, but we have more work to do. And some of that is just building up coalitions with other districts to see how they came about doing that. What was the challenges they encountered along the way? There's no need for us to completely reinvent the wheel. That has been established. We can learn from other communities that are of like size and demographic makeup as us. Would you mind repeating the second question?
Second question was, what's your perspective on supporting children with autism and other disabilities and incorporating them into regular classroom education time? So
I've learned a great deal attending many of the CPAC meetings for special education and parent advisory committee. Lake-Stream Restricted Environment, LRE, is a real thing that we needed more inclusion with the students that have disabilities and IEPs and such. One of the challenges we've faced is the growing age of some of our buildings. You look at CES, that's probably the most obvious one. We have a lot of challenges because it hasn't been adapted to modern learning. If any of us think about our normal day activities, everything has evolved over the last 50, 60, 70 years to a great deal. but yet education hasn't changed that much, especially our buildings. Look at CES. It's time to address those things.
Would you like me to repeat the question? Yep, no problem. Thank you. No problem at all. So comparing our school district to other similar districts, what do you believe our students need for academic excellence and preparation for the future? And also, how do you see, what's your perspective on children with autism and disabilities and having their needs met, including being part of a regular classroom?
Thank you. Thank you. Regarding the similar school districts, unfortunately, there are actually not a lot of similar school districts comparing Dudley and Charlton for various reasons, whether it's different town demographics or more than 2 towns, so we are unique in that aspect. However, there are items that we do achieve, and again, it is directly related because we are a district. We have been talking in the past, off and on for many, many years about deregionalization, and basically we get too much money, too many grants from the state because we are a regionalized district. So I don't think that's going to change any time in the future. Another thing that I think we are achieving and going to excel at going forward is the help of Amazon for the next 10 years. We have a $150,000 grant per year for 10 years, and as it was given to the town of Charlton, but we as a school committee have decided to ensure that it is being distributed evenly throughout the entire school district, not just Charlton. And we are going to provide funds for high quality instructive material, and I believe the first item we're going to be doing is focusing on the elementary schools, because it has been quite a few years since we have had high quality instructional materials. Just for example, how expensive that is. One set of materials in one school, or I'm sorry, for both schools, it's about $225,000. So therefore, the Amazon of $150 doesn't even cover. So then, of course, we have to look into our budget and try to obtain the funds throughout the budget. So, are we lacking? Yes, I would say we are from a technology perspective. However, we're doing the best we can with the level of funding that we have. And then regarding the special needs, et cetera, yes, the least restrictive environment, definitely. Since COVID, our students on an IEP are approximately 50% of the entire student population in the 7 schools, which is unbelievable and not in a good way. So definitely focus on that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, this is all, of course, leading up to questions for the Board of Selectmen candidates as well, and it's good for them to also hear from every other candidate and thoughts about what those departments contribute to the town. For our Board of Selectmen candidates, Ms. Spiewak and Mr. Kevorkian, what do you think the town is doing well, and what do you think the town needs to improve? What would be your priorities?
So my priorities would be public safety. I have had many family members as well as friends on the police department. I want to make sure that they're funded and needing or getting anything that they do need. As well as the fire department, my dad, as well as other uncles and family members were also volunteer firefighters. So that kind of plays near and dear to my heart, as well as being in the Marine Corps and obviously being a volunteer, and that was something that we were interested in, as well as safety for the team, safety for our town. As far as what we do well, I think we do have a well-staffed police department. I think we have a well-staffed fire department. I do believe that there are areas that some funding would be probably more beneficial for them. Recently I've taken a tour through the fire department, and quite frankly it was a little embarrassing for our first responders to see that some of the expense that they go through with some of the vehicles and how they have to sweep the floors every morning because there's water infiltration, none of the windows are matching or even the same size. all the rooms are not heated or air conditioned properly. So there's definitely issues that we need to pay attention to more as a community and pay attention to funding that goes to them. I forgot the second part of the question.
And what do you think the town's doing well?
I think that's what I just answered.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you. Yeah. And the question is, what do you think the town's doing well, and what do you think the town needs to improve? And what, speaking to your priorities.
Sure. As I had mentioned in my opening statement, I had been a select board member before, but that was a few years ago. So I've been going out and meeting with people. I met with the town administrator. I met with the police chief. I met with the directors, the council on aging. So here's what I learned. It was just to revisit, get a refresh on what I knew at the time and get caught up, if you will. I think what we're doing well is our finances. Right now, I equate this to if you have the Facebook page, you pin something to the top, and finances is something we need to pin to the top, and it's always got to be in sight. Every year costs rise, and currently we're able to keep up with those rising costs because of new growth, but nothing lasts forever. So it's important that we, the selectmen, are proactive and work collaboratively across all the boards to develop a long-term plan. So Charlton remains a community like, we heard, why did you come here? Well, the schools, the community feel. We want that to be maintained. Live, learn, work, and play, I like to say. As far as, and again, maybe many of you aren't familiar with 5-member select board. We're kind of on the org chart, I won't say at the top, but we're actually, all of you are at the top. I just want you to know that the residents of Charlton, you on the org chart, you are the ones that ultimately pass the budget. So you actually have the control, just saying. But anyway, what I would like to see improve is our housing and senior citizens. We need to focus on our senior citizens, and right now we don't have enough of affordable housing for senior citizens, for instance. And I did go over this at length with the director. Also, I don't know if any of you have actually been over to the senior center. Anyone in here? Yeah. We can do better, I think, for our senior citizens. And I know there is a feasibility study. There's a group working on that, and that's something I certainly would love to work on to kind of plan for something like that, because our senior citizen population is also growing.
Thank you. If you could hold on to the microphone, and we'll go in the reverse order for this next question. When conflicts arise between different town governance bodies, what is your approach to finding constructive solutions that prioritize the community's best interest? So what's your approach to conflict resolution?
I just think having an adult conversation, you check egos at the door, you invite key stakeholders in, we look at the big plan, and we decide, how are we going to get there? And if we can all agree on how we're going to get there, we will. But I believe in being calm. I believe in always asking, everyone in the room needs to say, what is in the best interest of Charlton? Not what is in the best interest of me, or one or two people that may have reached out to me, but what is in the best interest of Charlton. But it's important to maintain decorum and just hear each other out, and I mean listen to each other, and then come up with a plan. One of the things I'm very excited about, because we're lacking it right now, it's very old, and I know the planning board is driving the bus with this one, but it's called the master plan. And we're going to be doing a master plan, and that master plan serves as our North Star vision, if you will. And it's so important because to follow that once we actually get it, because to formulate the master plan, you take input, you gather input from the entire community, from all the boards, and again, it's like the board, all the boards, we have to work to create this and then follow it. And I think that will help de-escalate anything if people are like, I think we should do this, no, I think we should do that. Well, guess what, folks? We go back to the master plan. Because again, all us, the elected officials, we come, we go, and we all have our ideas, but it's important that we keep a document that we can follow for a number of years.
I think that open is key. I think when you have all parties in the same room and everybody is kind of openly hashing things out and discussing what's going on, that's where you're going to get a final resolution. I think that there's so many different committees and boards, that people in subcommittees that people can belong to, that not all the information gets transferred or relayed as it should. And I think if there was more meetings where more people attended and you had all the key stakeholders involved at the same time, I believe more will come out of that than having separate meetings. I've, again, started attending some recent meetings here in Charlton, and I realized that, like, on the Recreation Committee, for example, there was literally 3 people at a meeting that were attending. Everything is very well unattended. All of these things, in my opinion, should be more attended. We need to get more people that are interested, more people that are concerned, to come out to see what's going on and actually pay attention. So for me, I think it's communication, which is key.
Thank you. So next question. If elected, how many committees would you commit to serving on during your term in terms of your engagement as a representative from the Board of Selectmen? And are you committed to attendance, which you just spoke to briefly?
Very committed. I don't throw my name out there. Obviously, there's a lot of people that probably don't recognize me or have never heard of me. I don't throw my name out there. I believe that we should be more involved, and that's, again, where I started attending these committees, and I've learned more about how lack of interest it really is to people, but there's a lot of people that have things to say. So I think that, you know, again, more people should be attending these things.
Thank you.
So attendance is extremely important, and I take my commitments very, very seriously, and I'm going to give you a little bit of information exactly why it's important. People, when you're a selectman, really you should be on at least 2 subcommittees. And the reason is, you know, you're lessening the burden on your peers. We're all in this and we all got to share. And not only that, it also helps with the town administrator who does an amazing job, and he serves on so many committees himself. Meanwhile, if we all did 1, 2, at least 2, if not 3, I'm willing to serve on a lot of committees. Seriously, 3 or 4, that's what I do, that's what I like. But that's so important, I want to stress that. And to address the issue of attendance, because I've heard it over and over again, I certainly would be open into creating something, what they do in Boston for our legislators. You create a dashboard, and you actually track the attendance. And then maybe if we're really good, we'll track the votes too. Because when the citizens want to know how we're doing and what we're doing, and if we're sticking to what we said, you should be able to, at a glance, look at that, not dig through minutes and minutes and minutes. So I think that would be a good solution to possibly solve the attendance problem. I don't know, maybe they'll inspire more people to go if they know they're being watched. But as most of us in this room probably know, it's very difficult to get rid of an elected official, right? So if they get elected for 3 years and they decide not to, maybe just to show up for their 1 or 2 meetings a month, basically, yeah, that's what they can do. But I don't think that's right, personally. You're going to get on there, you're going to work, and be on the subcommittees and help everyone else out.
Great, thank you. All right, it is 2:30 and I have committed to 1 hour, but I do want to just mention a few other question topics for our casual interaction time with the candidates afterwards, in case these are things that you also have been thinking about. Thinking about how we hear from the residents in the town, and what public servants can do to facilitate that. Looking at development and how do we attract business along Route 20. Feel free to pose those questions when you come up. How do we support a dementia-friendly Charlton? Looking at the interaction between the school district and the Board of Selectmen, and should the Board of Selectmen be more involved or present for discussions of the school budgets? These are questions people have posed. Also, folks have asked about how to ensure that educational policies and curriculum decisions stay focused on student learning, and how do people on the school committee collaborate with others. There was a question about the State Board of Ethics. So as a part of every public official's onboarding, you do have to take an online ethics training, and there's a training on confidentiality. No, there's another one.
Open meeting law.
Open meeting law, thank you, from your town moderator. And so you have to take the training, you get certified through the state system, and you have to do it every 2 years when you're in office. So by a show of hands, instead of asking you all to comment on this, will you commit to completing the ethics and open meeting law trainings for every term that you are present and elected? Thank you. Okay, that answers that. All right, finally, there is an open seat for a 3-year term on the Recreation Commission, and Ross Lemansky has expressed an interest in being considered as a write-in candidate. So I am just announcing his interest in being written in as a candidate for the seat. And he notes that he has children involved in sports and has served on the planning board in the past. All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I appreciate your time. I hope you have a very happy Easter for those of you that celebrate it. And please stick around and come ask your remaining questions to the candidates here today. Thank you.
Yes, we either gonna, come to you guys gonna come to us. Oh yeah?